Welcome back live to the Singapore Basketball Centre. Well, after the drama of Safsa topping the top-ranked Hornets by a solitary point in a yo-yo seesaw game a couple of moments ago, it's now up to Siglap and Xin Hua to see who will play Safsa. The fourth-ranked team member have made the final. Now, will it be the second-ranked Siglap or the third-ranked Xin Hua to meet them? And, of course, the twist in the tale here is that Xin Hua beat Siglap, who finished above them in the table 81-66 when the teams met in the regular season. So make of that what you will. Nothing to split the two sides at the top of the shop as they secured their berths, but the form lines suggest Xin Hua have got Siglap's measure. But as we've seen already tonight, the form book thrown out the window with that stunning victory for Safsa. And we're off and running with the Xin Hua in the burgundy vests and Siglap in the white and blue. Well, the crowd here just catching their breath after that drama we witnessed moments ago. Early big chance, up and over it goes, but that was great rebound work from Ching Po Yap. Ching Po Yap with the first point to this one to give Xin Hua an early lead. Siglap looking to respond straight away. Big three-point attempt is nowhere near really in truth, but they do manage to come up with it. That's good work from Siglap to come up with another chance. And the two-point jumper missed, but Liang Hammond manages to get it back, and Liang Hammond to make it count for a third time. Nothing doing. So Xin Hua with a chance to open up by 4 early here. Offensive foul called on Edmund Go, I think that was. Great two-point layup. The driving layup for Siglap by number 25, Ming Xuan Chong. And we're 11-2, 8:41 to play in the first. Big three-point attempt is no good. And Siglap build from the back with Jonathan Wen. Oh, that's a good steal. Good hustle and defense from Fosi Shan. Easy peasy layup for Fosi Shan. Xin Hua by 2. Ah, that's a great hustle. Sean Lim leveling it up with a layup for Siglap. Well, this is being played at a frenetic pace early. Into the lane and driving, but rejected. Ching Po Yap coming up with the rejection. And he drew the offensive foul as well. Second bite of the cherry. Wasn't very competitive under the rim there for that. It was far too easy for Xin Hua. Back out to a 2-point lead, but it's showing signs early that it's going to be tight here. Remember in our first game, Safsa somehow built up an early lead before throwing that away. That's the first big three-pointer of the affair. Gives Siglap their first lead in the match. 7-6. 3 points, courtesy of Sean Lim. Oh, foul called there. That looked nasty. Coming in for Siglap now is the number 6, Ding Lung Tae. unlike the first semi-final where, safe to say, Delvin Go and Russell Lowe really stand out from a physical point of view. Much more of an evenly matched set of 10s on the court, certainly at the moment, from the starting 5s physically, which in theory should, if you're going to be very basic about it, give us an even contest. It's certainly proving even early on. Xin Hua with that 2-pointer to go in front by 1. Good hustle, used the net there as a bit of a deflection and a distraction, but the 2-point up no good from Min Chuan Chong. And now Siglap having to hold off Xin Hua's attempt to make this a 3-point game, or maybe more. Maybe more. No, no good. But they come up with the offensive rebound. Falls out for another 2-point try. This time no good from Chan Kok Fong. And that's a nice transition into the lane in the paint for the 2. Oh, nothing on it. There was no power on the layout from Mitchell Volkov. And Siglap will have a chance to get their noses back in front. Big 3 attempt. No good from Sean Lim on that occasion. Well, that's a very early timeout call at 5:33. I think that's Siglap that called that timeout. Trailing by 1. 1-point ball game, 5:33 to play in the first. How quickly do you reckon from full time do you make it from here to that losing? 22 seconds. Or 24 seconds, otherwise it'll be a shot clock violation. You're buying a second round as well. That was blinding, that first game. A turn up, that is one of the biggest scoring upsets since the Young Lions beat Warriors 2 weeks ago. I think I dropped that into contract. Singapore's seen some great sporting upsets in recent times. 11 not winning the Premier League contract this year. So, tight this one, Xin Hua by a point, 5:33 left in the first. A very early timeout called by Siglap. And they took their full allocation on that timeout as well, but they've been sent back out, have Siglap, by coach Nyo Nyam Kang. Clearly with a plan in mind to try and make this possession a telling one. Already, we haven't seen that situation in our first semi-final where Safsa went out to an 8-point lead before being reeled in, and then, of course, the Hornets led by 5 before losing it by 1. Well, that was clearly something designed in the timeout. Is it going to pay off? No, it's not. Xin Hua coming up with a steal. Quick in transition. Chance for the 2-point layup. It's good. Tok Jan Shang with a 2. And Xin Hua by 3. Siglap, last 2 visits have been unsuccessful. They won't want to make it the hat-trick here. Teed up for the 3-point, 2-point jumper instead off the rim. Never looked like going in. And now Xin Hua, first chance to make this a 2-possession game, driving into the lane. Oh, not for the first time. The radar slightly off from Mitchell Volkov. And straight up the other end. Look at the speed this game's being played at. And they draw the foul. Chong Ming Xuan drawing the foul. And Siglap will go to the line with 2 chances to get this back to a 1-point ball game. So first side of the free throw line for Siglap. And they're 1 from 1 to kick things off. Chong Ming Xuan closes the gap to 1. Still 1 more to come. The sweat pouring off these players already. The capacity crowd here. Hot and humid atmosphere under the lights of the Singapore Basketball Centre. He misses with a second one. So still Xin Hua in this possession can stretch the lead to 4, which is what they'll try and do. Mitchell Volkov's been a bit hit and miss so far. Xin Hua miss again there, so Siglap now can tie this up. Thought about the three, thought better of it, go inside. Now out and inside. There's a lane violation there. So the offensive foul, they cough it up, and Xin Hua once more will try and stretch the lead to 4. 4:25 to play in the first. Bit of space to work with for Chok Jianshang. Good hustle from Hans Christian there, but they'll keep possession, will Xin Hua. Fresh 14 seconds on the shot clock as well. 4:09 to play. They lead by 2. Very keen, you'd imagine, here to stretch that lead to 4. And they'll try and do that with John Ng teeing up for the 3-point attempt was Edmund Go. Instead, Edmund Go plays it inside. Oh, there was plenty of pressure coming from Siglap. They did well there. And now once more, Siglap to tie us up. A 2-point play here, and we'll be tied at 10 with about 3.5 to go in the first quarter. Foul called on Chok Jianshang there. He's had a very busy start. 2 points and a foul to his name already. So telling the contrast in games here. The Delving Go-led Safsa and the Russell Low-led Hornets. No such players dominating here. But that's a fresh air shot that's going to give Xin Hua a chance to open up this 4-point lead. In and out the paint, no good. Hans Christian didn't make it count. And with 3:28 to go, the offensive rebound stretches that lead finally to 4. Big 3-point attempt. Oh, not close. Not close enough from Hamanlat Bingyang. As into the fray for Siglap comes Sean Lim once more. Tae Ding Loon as well, the Singapore international on the court in the 5 for Siglap. Xin Hua now driving forward with Chok Jianshang. Wanting the ball there was John Ng, didn't come his way. He might still get it though, John Ng. Shot clock at 12. John Ng still desperate to get this, and they've coughed it up. Well, whistle for the foul there was Yo Yu Song, or Edmund Go, I should say, to apologise. The foul does go the way of Siglap, who trail by 4. Exactly 3 minutes to play in this first quarter. And the way this game is going, you think if Xin Hua can open up to an 8-10 point lead here, Siglap are going to find this very hard going. There's no dominant players on the court through the first 7 minutes of this first quarter. No one player you believe can really drag back an 8 or 10 point deficit. It's all going to be about teamwork between these two teams. Oh, that's good defensive hustle from Bing Hong Lo. And they force the turnover, and now they will get a chance to stretch it out to a 6-point lead. John Ng finding his way into the paint, leaving it for Edmund Go. Edmund Go hands it off to Hans Christian Pernero, and Xin Hua now lead by 6. Remember, Xin Hua took Siglap to the cleaners in the regular season, a 21-point win on that occasion. And now they lead by 6. And draw another foul. Just to keep an eye on the foul count, obviously Chok Jianshang already on 2 fouls, with still 2:09 to play in the first. I don't want to see him fouled out of this one. He's going to be crucial to their chances down the stretch. So Siglap are having to hustle here. I'm sure it's concerning their coach, Neo Nam Kiang, that they're 6 behind, possibly more in a minute. Oh, that was good hustle on both strides. Great attempt by Edmund Go, and a great defensive play from Cam Wei Trat. Oh, that ball's hit our commentary position. Expensive equipment going flying. Xin Hua with a bit between their teeth here. Another chance to extend that 6-point lead to 8. Mitchell Folkoff, their international. Part of this play into the paint, trying to draw the foul. They don't need to. The 2 is good. Really strong work from Tok Chen Shang. He's up to 6 points for the night. The lead's now 8. Oh, nice fade, but the finish not good enough from Chongming Xuan. And now are we staring at a double-digit lead with 1:19 to go in the first quarter? Will it be double digits or a chance for Siglap to close up? You get the feeling the momentum's all we should drop. Double-digit lead on the way. Well, they had the foul drawn and they'll get the chance to extend it to a 10-point lead. Call for the foul there is Cam Wai Khat. And to the line to try and make it a 10-point game is Tok Chen Shang. Already a joint game leader with 4 points for Xin Hua. Only manages to go 1 of 2 from the line, so the lead is now 9. The biggest lead we saw in our first game was 8 points. That was turned round from an 8-point Safsa lead in the first half to a 5-point Hornet lead in the second before they lost by 1 here. Whoa! Here, Siglap are going to do, or try and do, what is hard at any level of basketball, which is recover from a 9-point deficit. Important they score in this possession. They're 3 points without points, Siglap. 3 minutes without troubling the scoreboard. Into the final 60 seconds. Crucial that they at least drew the foul there. And going up to the line to try and get Siglap back in business will be Sean Lim. And surely he has to make both these points count to at least take Siglap to double figures and cut the arrears to 7 inside the final minute of the first quarter. Sean Lim, game leading, 5 points for the big man. If you were going to send someone to the line, it would probably be Sean Lim from a Siglap perspective. Not so for Xin Hua, but that's what they've done. They've got the 9-point buffer, but that buffer's now only 8, and Sean Lim will get a chance to make it 7. Sean Lim, game leading now with 6 points. Misses with the second though. Well, I think for a minute, Hans Christian Pinheiro thought that they'd managed to cob up possession, but much to his delight, they've kept it. And now, are we going to see that double-digit lead that we've speculated about? They lead by 8 points inside the final 38 seconds. There's 12 seconds left on the shot clock. It's enough for them to get one away and endure a full possession from Siglap and still have a couple of seconds to play with. So there's going to be more points in this quarter, surely. Trying to eat the clock up here. Tok Chen Shang. Oh! Big score from Pinheiro. Was actually Mitchell Folkoff. I'm doing Mitchell a disservice there. He came up with that 2-pointer. The lead is 10. 16 seconds to play. 10 on the shot clock. They go with a 2-point jumper. It's no good. And there's 10 seconds for Xin Hua to extend it to a 12-point lead. And they'll get a good chance as well with the layup. No good. Second bite of the cherry for Mitchell Folkoff. And time is going to expire with Xin Hua opening up to a 10-point lead at the end of the first quarter here in the second semi-final. As Xin Hua and Siglap battle it out for a chance to play Safsa in Sunday's showpiece occasion. You're watching us live on the 11 Sports Facebook page and on the Sports SG YouTube channel as we bring you the semi-finals of the National Basketball League Division 1 in association with our top-class sponsors Shot Zone, 2XU and Leaning. Second quarter on the way in 90 seconds. Because that's what you can, it's very difficult. proper operation, is it? A bit chuck this, man. Couldn't in the last game, it was impossible. It was like mental from start to finish. This is going to be a blowout. What's bizarre is Siglap finished in front of them in the league, but this lot murdered them by 20 points in the time they played in it. But what's also bizarre about this is there's no sort of, there's no like giants. Like without that Russell low, they're useless. So we're almost set for second quarter action. 30 seconds left of this interval, and Xin Hua are already back out on the court. I think they and their coach Han Yuan think they can put this to bed inside the first half. They lead by double digits, and if the momentum carries on as it is, this game could be beyond Siglap before half time. They've only managed 9 points thus far. 6 of those coming from Sean Lim, who has led the way so far, but the points have been spread across the experienced Xin Hua lineup. Their game leader, Tok Chan Shang, with 5 points. He's also picked up a couple of fouls, it must be said. And he's been a little bit hit and miss, but Mitchell Fulkoff's already shown what he's all about with a fine 2-point jumper. Well, they're taking plenty of time to get back onto court here, Siglap. And they don't look great in terms of their body language. No question, Xin Hua fancy this. And Siglap have been a little bit overawed by that first 10 minutes of action. Can they start to claw their way back into proceedings here at the start of the second quarter? Vital they score surely on this early possession. Stephen Koo. Can Wai Huat. Twist and a turn. And a strong layout from Stephen Koo, who started and finished that first possession of the second quarter with a score that Siglap badly needed. But Xin Hua coming straight back up the other end. The lead down to 8. But you get the feeling not for long. 3-point chance here. Instead goes inside, drives into the paint, and they get the turnover. So, is this a momentum shift at the start of the second quarter? Big 3-point play, no good off the rim. And Xin Hua come up with it, and driving through is Edmund Go. Coast to coast, Edmund Go, great stop. But Xin Hua come up with it once more. Out wide, inside. No good. Well, having done the hard work, twice in 30 seconds, Edmund Go missed the easy part. Ah, that's coughed up too easily. Ken Wai coming up with the blowout. Well, a frantic 45 seconds has produced no points there. And I think that will probably suit Xin Hua more than Siglap, who now try and steady things up. They've now got the lead down to 8. Oh, that's loose. It's a loose pass from Chon Ming Xuan. And it will give Xin Hua, with an 8-point lead now, possession to try and open up that double-digit advantage once more. Oh, big attempt. Fresh air. Shot clock's down to 10. They'll have to get one away soon. Oh, good work defensively and offensively. But the offensive rebound, well, he had 2 offensive rebounds there. Yak Ching Po, and couldn't nail either of them. So the scoring in this game is suffering a bit of a lull. Still Xin Hua, though, leading by 8. You can see Lo Bing Hong ready to get back into the action here. as drawing the foul is Stephen Koo. You get the feeling it'll be Stephen Koo, the retired Singapore international, who might be the man to try and drag Siglap back into this. There's a couple of interchanges come in from Xin Hua, including Lo Bing Hong. Stephen Koo, nothing but net with a first attempt. This to close it to within 6. Seems a long time now since they were as close as 6 points behind Xin Hua, but they are now. It's a 19-13 game, Xin Hua's favour, 7:27 to play in the first half. Pass cross court from Mitchell Folkoff. Finds Chan Kok Fong. Mitchell Folkoff for 3! Off, in and out. What a defensive rebound from Cha Shon Ling Leong. And they come up with a 2. Courtesy of Lee Kendi, I think that was. Oh, they got the turnover. Open court to run at. Should be a simple layup. Doesn't drop. Not taking advantage there was Yang Ching Po. And Siglap try and go up the other end and finish a layup of their own, which they do. And the gap is now 6. Well, any hopes that Xin Hua had of putting this game to bed in the second quarter for now will have to be put on hold. Their lead has gone from 10 to 6, and it could be down to 4 in a minute. Oh, well, he was quite fortunate ultimately. Yurong Changron to get the possession back there. Played it blind into the path of a Xin Hua player. Not sure the Xin Hua player knew much about it though, so it will be Siglap ball on the baseline. 6:06 to play in the first half. Xin Hua by 6. 2-point jumper from range, nowhere near. And Xin Hua will be quick in transition here. Should be another 2-pointer. Well, they made that harder than it was. Well, defensive hustle from Siglap, but Xin Hua surely made that more complicated than it should have been. Tok Jun Shang, you thought would have fancied finishing that on his own. As it is, they've maintained possession. And they'll be looking for Mitchell Folkoff here, surely. Comes to Folkoff. Mitchell Folkoff, under pressure. Might have to pull the trigger here, Mitchell Folkoff. Out it goes. 2-point jumper attempt. The layup is good. Hans Christian Panero with another 2. And the lead's back out to 8. Thought about the 2-point jumper, but instead into the paint and finish off nicely. Stephen Koo, who's leading the line for Siglap, dragging them kicking and screaming to try and be competitive here. 6 points on the night for Koo. Oh, all too easy. Tok Jan Shang. Game high 9 points for him. Oh, that was well kept in initially, but unfortunately for Yonrong Chanrong, it falls straight into the path of Xin Hua, and that move finished with a plum by Chan Kok Fong. And now it's a 10-point game once more, so they survived that mini Siglap resurgence, Xin Hua, and we're back to double-digit territory with the men in maroon looking red-hot favourites at this point to join SAFSA in Sunday's showpiece final. Remember, we will see the Hornets again. They'll be in the 3rd and 4th place berth against the team that loses out here. Can Siglap stage a comeback? We'll find out after this timeout. Must give a mention to our marvellous crew, Alan Cheng, the crew chief, Desmond Poit and Chelton Tan. We're doing a fine job with all our officials in making the National Basketball League Division 1 in 2017 run so smoothly. And also time to mention the sponsors once more, our good friends at Shot Zone, 2XU and Li Ning, working hard to promote sport in Singapore, and no sport is growing faster or harder than basketball, as is evidenced by these fine young and experienced talents treading their stuff live on 11 Sports and of course on the Sports SG YouTube page. And once more, Xin Hua out on court much quicker than their opponents to get this game restarted. They sense again they can put this game to bed by the half. Anything greater than a 12-point lead, and surely Siglap will find it insurmountable to come back. When you look at the experience in the Xin Hua Sports Club side, the likes of Chishao Lianglong, Mitchell Foucault obviously, and Pathman, plenty of players with great experience in their squad. And while Siglap have their international representatives as well, Stephen Koo at the moment is the only one seemingly capable of going on the kind of run that it would need to come back from a 10-point margin of deficit. And talking to the devil, Stephen Koo's at it again. Well kicked in by Yongrong Chiangron. Into the lane he goes, but well rejected. Strong work in defence from Chok Chen Shang. Although I think they're debating about the shot clock violation that was called. We'll get the decision. Back into the action for Siglap comes Sean Lim. Sean Lim with 6 points on the night and 2 fouls. Shot clock, they'll get a fresh shot clock here. 24 seconds Siglap. Every possession now, even at this early stage, crucial for Siglap. They've got to make these forays into the paint count against the Xin Hua side who've been so quick in transition. The turnover so costly, if nothing else, because not only are they not scoring, Xin Hua seem to get the ball from one end of the court to the other before they got time to reset. And that's going to go the way of Xin Hua. And is a 12-point lead, the biggest one of the night so far on the cards. Inside the final 4 minutes of this first half. Fulkoff is lurking, looking for it, the number 18. Mitchell Fulkoff wants it. Mitchell Fulkoff almost gets it. He does get it now and does well in the end to hustle and keep it in, but they do cover it up eventually. Falls to Sean Lim. Sean Lim again, fades inside. Sean Lim for 3! No good, not even close. And another chance for Siglap goes begging. And once more, Xin Hua will have a chance to open up their biggest lead of the night. Driving forward, John Ng for Xin Hua. I can see readying to come on the field of play, Fushi Shan. He's getting ready to enter the fray, and he'll do so at the moment with his team still only winning by 10, but they get another chance to make it 12. Strong defense from Chiao Young Sang, and it's enough to force the turnover. He was desperate to get the foul there, Chong Ming Xuan, but I'll have to make do with just the retention of possession. As onto the field of play comes Fushi Shang. Also, Yap Ching Po coming on for the hard-working Chok Chang Shang. He's going to take a well-earned rest with 3:04 to go in the first half. 10-point ball game. Ducking inside, Sean Lim. Drawing the foul called on Fushi Shan. That was his first contribution. Whistle for a foul very early on in his reintroduction. Does well. Siglap doing very well. 3-point try. No good again. And look at this quick transition. This is what we're talking about. Every time Siglap miss, Xin Hua like lightning up the other end, and Edmund Go adds another 2. And it's the biggest lead of the night. They lead by 12. Siglap just not firing at the moment. They've only managed 17 points in 17 minutes and 20 seconds of basketball. That's not going to get it done. Some welcome points to Siglap, courtesy of Reese Lowe. Still though, it's a 10-point lead, and still though, Xin Hua intent on transitioning from one end of the court to the other at pace. Foul blown on Chongming Xuan there. And he's already up to a couple of fouls. 3-point contribution from him as well. Into the paint. The pause, the shift, the shimmy, and the 2-point layup from Fu Dishan. It's a 12-point lead once more, approaching the final 2 minutes of the first half. A little bit too exuberant in defence on that occasion. And now, we will see that familiar figure of Sean Lim. I think it is coming up to the line. Is Sean Lim up the line or no? Might well be Chongming Xuan. Bonus not in effect yet, so they will in fact just retain possession from the baseline. Having to work so hard, Siglap, to well, not even really stay in touch, trailing by 12. They've coughed it up once more, and again, just like that, Xin Hua from one end of the court to the other, with a chance for a 14-point lead. Oh no! Well, Edmund Go looked for all the world that he'd add another 2, but instead, Fu Dishan is called for another foul, and he's up to 3 already. He'll take a seat with a right smile, but 3 fouls with only 1:49 seconds remaining in the first half. Well, that's his 4th. I make a mistake, it's his 4th. He could be fouled out by half-time the way Fu Dishan's going and have to take a seat. I'm sure we won't see him again in the remainder of this second quarter. On the drive forward for Siglap was Jonathan Chock. It's just not happened for Siglap so far. Deficit at 12, could get worse before half-time. Surely they can't come back from 14 points down at the interval. Despite the heroics of SAFSA of upsetting the odds in our first semi-final. If you're just joining us, SAFSA led by 8 in the first half, trailed by 5 in the second before stealing it by a point in a really solid effort against the red-hot favourite number 1 seeded Hornets, who did not know what hit them at the end. 24 seconds on the game clock, 24 seconds on the shot clock. They tried to win it all on the buzzer. It went badly wrong, and SAFSA will be in Sunday's final, and at the moment it looks like they'll be playing Xin Hua. Oh, lovely turn. Lovely turn. 2-point jumper attempt, deflected, no good. Yap Ching Po with a miss on that occasion. So all of a sudden, Xin Hua's scoring bandwagon just stutters. And Siglap with a chance. Oh, that's a waste. And he knows it. Disconsolate look from Jonathan Check. As we approach the final minute of this first half, Xin Hua have bossed this from start to finish. Lead by 12. Make that. Oh, I was about to say 15, but the 3-point attempt no good. And now Siglap, can they possibly reduce it to a single-figure lead before the break? Not with a 3-point play like that. Was a way off from Jonathan Chock. And with 48 seconds, each team going to have a possession. Well, I say each team will. Xin Hua will still have one, but they threw that one away. 20 seconds on the shot clock, 40 on the game clock. Both teams are going to have a chance to score here before half-time. And Siglap take theirs first. A 4-0 run from Siglap. They now trail by 10, and there's still time for them to have one more possession. Duck it inside. Comes inside with a layup. Strong and sensible play from Hans Christian Pereiro. And now it'll be up to Siglap to make this last possession count. Can they get the lead back to 10? Can they go for 3 points to give it to single figures? Driving in Sean Lim. No good, but the second offensive rebound is. And right on the buzzer, Chon Min Xuan makes it a 10-point ball game. It's Xin Hua by 33, led by the 7 points of Chok Cheng Shang. Siglap's 23 points. They got better at the end of that second half, but they're going to trail by 10. Their game leader, joint game leader with 6 points, Sean Lim and Stephen Coe. 4 minutes 30 to the start of the second half. We're at half time. Xin Hua boss by 10.
Guys, I'm on NAS. I'm on it. Yeah, one of you focus on the crowd. I see focus on the crowd. I see. You stay. Stay.
back on air. Are we live?
Stats. You always that.
Yeah, get me some stats. Huh? So welcome back live to the Singapore Basketball Centre. It's the second semi-final of the National Basketball League Division 1 in association with our good sponsors at Shot Zone, 2XU and Li Ning, who will join the surprise finalist SAFSA in our final on Sunday. Finals and third and fourth place playoffs of the women's competition to come as well on Sunday. Get yourself down to the Singapore Basketball Centre. A great atmosphere and some fine basketball talent on display. At the moment, looks very likely Xin Hua will be joining SAFSA in the final, but as the last match taught us, the first semi-final taught us, don't count anything until that final buzzer goes. And that final buzzer is 20 minutes of basketball away. It will be, though, tellingly maybe Xin Hua to get us underway first. Can Siglap come up with a big stop here on the first possession of the second half to turn the tide in their favour? Xin Hua have been very calm and relaxed and composed throughout most of this game. 2-point jumper to start them off. In and out. In and out from Chan Kok Fong. So, having stopped them, can Siglap take advantage and reduce the arrears? Stephen Coe, in it goes for the layup. Reese Lowe. That's the start they wanted. Now can they stop them again? The answer is 3 points. No. And they come up with a defensive rebound. And it's Reese Lowe. Just scored, now a defensive rebound, and he gets the ball back. Reese Lowe for back-to-back scores. Hands it off to Stephen Coe. And Stephen Coe puts Siglap back in business. And coach Han Yin has seen enough. An early timeout called at the start of the second half by Xin Hua. Okay? It's exciting, isn't it? The first one was amazing. Huh? Keeping it real. So, having called the timeout early, Coach Han Yun didn't have much to say to his troops. But how telling is this that for the first time, Siglap are the first ones back on the court after an interlude. They won a 4-0 run at the start of the second half, Siglap. Can they come up with their third consecutive stop here? Just a minute played in the third quarter. Hassan is good. He's come up with a stop. What about that from Stephen Coe? Oh my word! Siglap reduce it to a 4-point game. They're 6-0 at the start of the second half. So Xin Hua on an 0-6 run. I can see the coach to my right does not look best pleased. Let's see, oh, the slip there as well. This could be an 8-0 run shortly. What a turnaround here at the Singapore National Basketball Centre. Well, slip at just the wrong time from Sean Lim. Lets Xin Hua off the hook, and surely they can't keep missing on these possessions. So effective coming forward in the first half. Their attacking groove will have to come back sooner rather than later. No! Out of bounds there, Mitchell Folkoff. And for the fifth straight possession, Xin Hua failed to trouble the scoreboard. Well, the coach sends back in Lo Bing Hong. Kenneth back into the fray to try and stop this rot. Well, all of a sudden, this could be a 2-point game in a moment. Stephen Coe strong in possession, and he draws the foul. Doesn't get the 2+1, but he'll get 2 chances in the free throw line to cut this deficit to 2. Remember, at the break it was 10. And in 2 minutes, 23 seconds of basketball, Siglap are 2 free throws away from an 8-point swing. Oh, he misses the first one. Having worked so hard to win the foul, he'll be furious, Stephen Coe, but it's important he composes himself. Can he still make it a 3-point game? That he can. And Stephen Coe up to 9 points for the game. And they've missed again. This time, it was Chan Kok Fong with a miss. But Siglap on this occasion don't make them pay. Xin Hua still waiting, remember, their first points of this second half, and they still don't come. How about this? Oh, the big 3 is high, wide, and not so handsome. They've not scored now for over 5 minutes of basketball, Xin Hua. Is that drought going to come to an end? No, it's not. This is extraordinary. Two-point jumper, in and out. Not this time from Stephen Coe. And Xin Hua with their 6th possession of this second half. Still awaiting their first second half points. Oh, 3 points. They're going to end the drought in style. Yes, they are. Big 3 from Mitchell Folkoff, and they're off the mark in the second half. And the gap is back to 6. Well, how crucial could that 3 points be? Stops the rot, gives them a bit more breathing space, and piles the pressure back onto Siglap. And Siglap respond with a 2-point layup from Reese Lowe. The gap stands at 4, 5.5 to play in the third quarter. Oh, good hustle in the lane, hands it off, beautiful layup, great play. 2 points, Cha Xiao Ling Leong. And the Singaporean international comes up big for Xin Hua when it matters. Two-point jumper. He had plenty of space there, Stephen Coe. He's not made it count. And now, Folkoff on the charge. Folkoff still holding possession. Drives in once more, and he draws the foul. Stephen Coe doesn't like it, but I think it's going to be on he. It is on Stephen Coe. Well, that's Stephen Coe's first foul of the night. 9 points he's brought to the party. As his interchanges galore. Xin Hua looking to reassert their dominance here after a scoreless first 4 minutes 30 of this second half. They're now themselves on a decent scoring run after that Stephen Folkoff 3 put them back on track. Oh, clever pass. Oh, nice, came through. Was ambitious, it all almost came off. Edmund Go trying to thread the needle, didn't quite work out, but they've managed to keep possession. Two-point jumper, under pressure, no good. And again, despite the best efforts of Xin Hua, it'll be Xin Hua ball. You heard the shot clock buzzer go off there, but they just got one away on time that hit the rim, so that resets. They've got 11 seconds to find a shot here as we have a change of basketball. Someone needs to get a bit more air in the original ball. It's taken a timeout itself. Good hustle. 2-point jumper from range. Oh, nothing but net. Big hit from Yap Chin Po. And Xin Hua hit the 40-point mark. They lead once more by 8. Inside now, the final 4 minutes of the third quarter. Siglap, having clawed themselves back to within 3, now face the prospect of trailing by 10 again. That's a mistake from Xin Hua, and that's an easy finish. Cool as you like from Chongming Xuan. Chongming Xuan, 7 points on the night. Gets his team to within 7. Oh, he's furious at that call. Yo Yu Song of Siglap. It was Chongming Xuan that was called for the foul, and that's his third, I think. The high pace of this game taking its toll on both sets of players. As we're about to see for the first time tonight, the former Singaporean international Pathman. So the Pathman comes on to steady the ship as it's just got a little bit off the ball for Xin Hua. Let's see if Pathman's experience can pay dividends early on. He's got a huge height advantage over the Siglap 5 on the court at the minute. If they get it to him, he'll have a chance. Xin Hua by 6. Trying to tempt him into the 2-point jumper. And Reese Lowe didn't need a second invitation. Closes the gap back up to 4. Having looked down and out at half-time, Siglap are back in this. Here is Pathman. His experience trying to calm the Xin Hua nerves. Battered away by Xin Hua, who's doing a lot of hard work and hustle, an unsung defensive hero for Siglap. Here's the number 8, Xin Hua. Mitchell Fulkoff's about to come back into the fray, and he'll do so with his team having just added another 2 points to the mix. Lead back up to 6. 3-point attempt, no good. Pathman can't come up with a defensive rebound though, and Siglap get another chance. Will they go for another 3 here? They may well do. No, that's inside. It'll only be 2, and it doesn't go anyway. Oh, quick transition. This is the hallmark of Xin Hua's play. And the quick transition finished off by Yap Chin Po. Deflection from John Ng there. Almost steals them another chance. Two-point jumper, no good. And possession goes the way of Xin Hua. Timeout Siglap. They trail by 8, 1:57 to play in the third.
Somebody take the clock. RC take the clock. RC take the clock. Hey, somebody take the clock. Nice take the clock, please.
So we're back to Xin Hua being the first back on the court after breaks in play. And we could see it was coming. Mitchell Fulkoff's back in here for a strong finish, I'm sure, that Coach Han Yong fancies to the end of this third quarter. And despite all the inroads Siglap to the naked eye have made here, the fact is the scoreboard still reads they trail by 8. They've only managed to make up 2 points in the first 8 minutes and 3 seconds of this third quarter. And they could be about to trail by 10 once more. As Shiwa come forward with Yap Ching Po to Pathman. Hans Christian Pinero wants it back. Out for the three-point jumper. No good. Tok Chan Shang missing there. And Siglap straight up the other end with a nice 2-point layup of their own. Take about Chongming Shuang. Chongming Shuang, 11 points on the night for him now. But Xin Hua, so ruthless, they bounce straight back with a layup of their own, and their bench come up with that cry of defense. They want a strong final minute in this third quarter. Can they open up the gap back to 10? Psychologically, that would be a huge blow for Siglap. And they will get a chance for another 10-point lead. Driving into the lane. What a beautiful layup that is. Player of the day, Hans Christian Pinero. Well, that ambitious passage of play didn't quite come up. But with 30.3 seconds left on the game clock, 24 seconds left on the shot clock in this third quarter, there's still 2 possessions to be had. Who's going to finish strong in this third quarter? Well, it's not going to be Siglap on that evidence. And here's the main man, Mitchell Fulkoff. Out it goes to Yap Ching Po. Fulkoff now happy to run down the final seconds. Can they go up to a 12-point lead on third quarter time? Pathman out to Yap Ching Po. No good. Time expires. And for all of Siglap's good work in that third quarter, they puffed and they puffed, but they haven't blown the Xin Hua house down. They'll still trail by 10 at the start of the fourth. It's looking like the final's going to be third against fourth, and the third and fourth place person going to be first against second. Maybe that's playoff football for you. Looks all right, the coverage. So 10 is the magic number here. 10 minutes between Xin Hua and seemingly a date with destiny against Safsa in the final on Sunday. And 10 points for Siglap to overcome. They started so well at the start of that third quarter, but they couldn't follow it through. And you have to say Xin Hua are red-hot favourites now to progress. Surely Siglap cannot turn this round, but then we said surely Safsa couldn't beat the Hornets, and they did. It's been a night of shock so far. And at the moment, it looks like we're going to have the regular season third-ranked team play the regular season fourth-ranked team in the final, with the top two having to make do with the playoff for third and fourth. Siglap with possession first. Surely crucial. They make every possession count in the next 10 minutes and force those big stops, which they did so well at the start of the third quarter. How will they fare at the start of the fourth? 2-point jumper early on, no good. They get the offensive rebound though, they'll build again. Goes to Hammond Lack. Into Stephen Coe, had a quiet third quarter, Coe. And he started with a miss in the fourth. Pathman looking for his first points. Pathman, and he's robbed. So Pathman coughs it up early in the fourth quarter. It's scoreless at the start of the fourth. Ah, nice drive, nice fake. And he keeps possession well. Sean Lim couldn't get the shot away, but he maintains possession. Already 40 seconds gone in this fourth quarter. Two-point jumper. Oh, just creeps in and out. Doesn't count. And Mitchell Folkoff brings it away. What's the time of the first game on Sunday? Duck it inside. Nice play. Can he get the shot off? He can. And it falls to Yap Ching Po. And coming away with it, Tae Ding Loon with a big defensive rebound. Took a knock to his elbow for his trouble as well. So, no points so far. It's been a pointless start to this fourth and final quarter, 90 seconds played. And surely, if Xin Hua score first in this fourth quarter, it's almost time to say game, set, match. Oh, driving in the lane, showing strength. But the shot didn't get away in time, didn't hit the rim. And that will be a shot clock violation. And still, it looks like we're heading towards a pointless first 2 minutes of the fourth quarter. A reminder, you're watching the second semi-final of the National Basketball League Division 1 live on 11 Sports Facebook page and Sports SG YouTube channel. In association with our great sponsors, Shot Zone, 2XU and Li Ning. Surely the points come now. No! Couldn't reel it in. Fu Xishan coughs it up. And Siglap will try and register the first points now of this fourth quarter. As Xin Hua, you get the feeling, are now just trying to contain this game, wind the clock down. They've got the points in the bank to play with, leading by 10. And already almost a quarter of the fourth quarter gone. Defense is in the ascendancy here at the start of the fourth. Finally some points, and they do go the way of Siglap. Reese Lowe with a layup to potentially keep this one alive. They trail by 8, 7:24 to play. That's a long way off on the two-point jumper from Mitchell Folkoff. They get it back though, this time Folkoff for three! In and out. Oh, great hustle on the rebound from Fu Xishan. And Fu Xishan walking that foul tightrope. He's on 4 already. But his 7th and 8th points are incredibly valuable as Xin Hua back out to a 10-point lead. Big three-point attempt, no good. And Pathman comes away with it. And that could be all she wrote, ladies and gentlemen. Mitchell Folkoff looking to get this back. Yap Ching Po for 2. Off the backboard and good. And Xin Hua out to a 12-point differential with less than 6.5 to go. Oh, that's a big miss under the circumstances from Reese Lowe. And they've coughed it up once more. Now they're just going to wind this clock down. Coach Han Jin just saying, take the time, boys. You've got 13 seconds to play with here. Don't give Siglap the time they need to get back into this. well, slightly downbeat faces on the bodies of the Siglap players now, the 5 on the court, including Zhongmin Xuan, look resigned to their fate. A 12-point swing in 5 minutes 38, surely beyond them. Coming inside and drawing the foul there was Yo Rong Chiangron. Well, he's fouled out now. I make that Fu Xishan. Game over for the big man. He's had a strong night with 8 points, but that 5th foul will see him sit down for the final 5:29 of this one. Coach doesn't like it. Han Yun is unhappy with the call, but not all doom and gloom. They still lead by 12 with 5:29 to play. Just toweling himself off is Mitchell Folkoff. 2 free throws. They need to get them both surely. First one sunk by Sean Lim. Second one simply has to go for any hope at all of a miracle comeback, and it does. So Sean Lim 2 from 2 on that visit to the line. And of course the nature of the foul means they'll have the bonus of getting the ball back again. So who knows, a 2 or a 3-point play here. And all of a sudden, the wobbles might set into Xin Hua, but you'd have to doubt it on what we've seen so far. There's too much experience in this squad to let a 10-point lead slip with just over 5 to go. Oh, good hustle. But they had to make that count. It was a bad miss from Yo Yi Song. Pathman under all kinds of pressure. Manages to find support. Herring up the court is Yap Chong Po. And now they'll use every of their 24 seconds available to them on these possessions. Pathman. Oh, Pathman is having a shocker. Pathman, despite his experience, is looking way off the pace tonight. He'll want to find a new lease of life before Sunday's big final, if indeed Xin Hua do end up facing Safsa in Sunday's showpiece. Another miss. This time Pathman does come up with a defensive rebound. And Folkoff brings it up the other end for a 2 that would surely seal it. They'll draw the foul. Drawing the foul there was Chow Kok Fong. And if these two go down, surely game, set, match. Foul called on Chok Wen. Stephen Koh thrown back into the action by coach Nyo Nyam Kang for surely what is a final throw of the dice. Kok Fong nails the first of the free throws. The gap now out to 11. He makes no mistake with the second one either. Timeout called by Siglap as coach Nyo Nyam Kang will have one final pep talk to the troops to try and pull off the impossible. with that schedule for Sunday. Just put my phone, just pass my phone and get out. So there we go then. As now Nyam Kang managed to instigate the unlikeliest of comebacks. They're using every second they can now, not obviously letting the clock start till they touch the ball. Time is their enemy as well as the scoreboard. They're not giving up without a fight though. Credit to Siglap. And they follow up with a big rebound. Reese Lowe with another big two. That's him up to 12 points for the night. But on every possession now, Xin Hua can just really eat up the clock. Pathman out wide. Big three, this could be it. Well, with that miss from Chan Kok Fong, Siglap given another opportunity perhaps. This to make the difference single figures once more. Just a reminder of the action coming your way on Sunday. It's a busy day of basketball. Get yourself down here to the Singapore Basketball Centre if you can't. Join us on the 11 Facebook page or the Sports SG YouTube channel. 2 p.m. it's the women's third place playoff on Sunday. 3:30 the men's third place playoff. 5 p.m. the women's final. Then at 6:30 p.m. we've got the men's final, which at the moment is looking very likely to be Safsa against Xin Hua, who lead by 10 in the second semi with less than 3.5 to play. And they're now just winding the clock down. It's slow torture for Siglap. 2-point jumper is good. Big hit from Yap Ching Po. Yap Ching Po, 16 points on the night. He's the game leader and he's steering Xin Hua to the final. Oh, it's getting all too easy now. Xin Hua effortlessly coming up with rebounds. Stephen Folkoff managing the troops with aplomb. Mitchell Folkoff once more. Here is Yap Ching Po. Surely he doesn't want two more, does he? Yap Ching Po into the paint for two. Out it goes, and easy as you like. Xiao Ling Leon gets his 6 points. 5th and 6 points on the night. Oh, it's given up all too easy. And this now is becoming one-way traffic with a layup for two. Chan Kok Fong. And this game, stick a fork in it, folks, it's done. Xin Hua lead by 16 and are 2 minutes 13 seconds away from a place in the 2017 National Basketball League Division 1 final. They finished the regular season in third and they'll meet in Sunday's final the team that finished the regular season in fourth. That's what playoff basketball is all about. The top two teams will end up playing off for third and fourth places. So the first player back on the court for Siglap is Stephen Koo. He's done his best, but they've just not shown the strength and depth to deal with Xin Hua, who've been excellent off the bench as well. The starting five, the whole squad of 12 have played a part in this really. Only 3 of the 12 haven't contributed with points in this game. Obviously, the headlines will go to Yap Ching Po. He's going to be their leading scorer. But it's been very much a team effort from Xin Hua tonight, and they deserve their place in the final. Stephen Coe still fighting for the last, but even he now is susceptible to turning the ball over. And inside the final 2 minutes, Xin Hua now just getting shooting practice in for Sunday's final. Mitchell Volkov, in and out. Stephen Koo makes no mistake this time. Stephen Koo into double digits now for the night. He's the only player other than Reese Lowe to hit double figures for Siglap. Reese Lowe with 12. Stephen Koo up to 11 now. Stephen Koo called for the foul. Drawing it was Chan Kok Fong. Oh, almost the steal. Sean Lim went for broke. But approaching the final 60 seconds, so there's a lane violation there. But you have to say, Coach Han Lian is going to be very happy here. This has been a professional performance from Xin Hua. So Siglap will have to regroup themselves for that third and fourth place playoff where they'll play the Hornets, so I'm sure we'll be heavily favoured in that matchup. And who do you fancy for the final? Will it be Xin Hua or Safsa? Timeout called by Xin Hua. Still leading by 11 with 40 seconds to go. So Stephen Koo leads Siglap back onto the floor. That was amended to a 2-point play, that prior basket. So it's a 12-point lead, 40.9 seconds to left. And of course, Xin Hua still have 24 seconds on the shot clock here. So doubt we'll see more than one possession for each side now. Pathman. He's played more defensively in the second half, Mitchell Volkov, and he's done a really good job anchoring the rear guard for Xin Hua, who did survive that mini comeback of sorts at the start of the third quarter from Siglap. But they soon re-established that 10-point lead by the end of the third quarter. And they are going to win this game by double digits, that much looks certain. As Pathman draws the foul. And Yap Ching Po, the game leader with 16 points, gets them underway. As Siglap now just sending them to the line more out of hope than expectation. Now on the bonus are Xin Hua, so they'll go to the line for every foul from here on in. Oh, that's a miss. Chan Kok Fong not able to take advantage of the first opportunity. He does with a second. Xin Hua lead by 13. It's unlucky for some, but it's not unlucky for them. With less than 30 seconds to go, they're on their way to Sunday's final. Zhong Ming Xuan draws the foul there, so he will go to the line. Naylor needs to at least bring Siglap to the half century of points. They'd still trail by 11 even if they both go down. Another timeout called. Well, the crowd here is starting to file out at the magnificent Singapore Basketball Centre. They've enjoyed a great night of action, 2 fantastic games. What a thriller we had in our first matchup. SAFSA somehow beating the Hornets in a game that will go down in the annals of Singapore basketball history as one of the all-time greats. And now, slightly less thrilling, but none the more influential, Xin Hua are going to comfortably beat Siglap, and they will face SAFSA in Sunday's final. Make sure you're with us, 2 p.m. local time, local Singapore time, for the start of not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 great games. You've got the men and women's 3rd and 4th place playoff matches, and then the men and women's final, with the men's final slated to start at 6:30 p.m. 4 great games coming to you live on the 11 Sports Facebook page and the Sports SG YouTube channel in association with our great sponsors at Shot Zone, 2XU and Li Ning. Well, now the fouls are coming in just to send them to the line in a futile attempt from Siglap to try and get back into this, but it's too little too late from them. They really missed a trick when they couldn't capitalise on that really strong start on defence and on offence at the start of the 3rd quarter. And the second that Xin Hua reopened up a 10-point lead at the end of the 3rd, you knew deep down that was it. Yap Ching Po, though, has missed his first free throw. He's stuck on 16 points for the night, still game high. This one to take him to 17 for the night, and that one does go. And now with 19 seconds on the clock, credit to Siglap for trying to extend this, but the game is up. And failing to get the shot away there, but drawing the foul was Sean Lim. But of course, Xin Hua still have plenty of fouls to give, so even that won't send them to the line. Final 13 seconds here. 2-point jumper, Stephen Coe. Nothing but net. Stephen Coe be disappointed with the night, but personally, he has another couple to take him to 13. He's a team leader for Siglap, but it's a Siglap side that has to make do with a place in the 3rd and 4th place playoff. And it'll be Xin Hua, led by the 17 points of Yap Ching Po, that will meet SAFSA in Sunday's thrilling final. From the whole team here on 11 Sports and Sports SG, in association with our friends at Shot Zone, 2XU and Li Ning, congratulations to our 2 winners, Xin Hua and SAFSA, and we look forward to seeing you for 4 great games of basketball live from the Singapore Basketball Centre on Sundays. Join us from 2 p.m. Singapore time.